Oh, hi everybody. Didn't see you there. Oh, anybody? No. One person. It's probably me. It's probably my own stream. But anyways, so we're just gonna chill out and hang for a couple minutes, see if anybody else shows up, and we'll get started with this grand here. Um, some chilled cow streaming with us today. Fun, fun. Let's do a hi world. Azure. Oh, it wasn't me. So who's actually watching? Say hi. I don't even know. This is weird. I haven't done this before. Ugh. This is what we're going to be making today. Oh, origami duck. But steel. I'm going to be using this 16 gauge. 18 gauge. Actually, this is probably 20. Real super thin material, but still has plenty of firmness to it. This is actually plate backing from a set of shelves that my employer picked up a while ago. It's got this really gorgeous, like rusted on painted patina that just kind of happened naturally. I've already done a lot of work cleaning it up, so that's kind of fun. I assume if you're watching, you know who I am. I'm Azure. I'm a decorative blacksmith and metal fabricator. I also do, some random woodworking stuff now and then, and some more artistic craft using both paper and steel. So, yeah, kind of cool. Oh, we got some more people. Hey, it's my Ian. What's going on, dude? We've got a couple of more viewers, which is fun. We've got a bunch of people. I'm not nervous at all. At all. Can you hear me? All right. Is music too loud? Eh? Eh? Um, I'm hoping you can hear me. I can hear me. That terrifies me. Okay. So I apologize in advance. I ramble a lot. We good? Cool. Thank you, Ian. Yeah. So there's going to be a couple of steps involved here. Obviously, I've already made a duck out of paper. So my general process is I come up with the model that I want to make. If it's not a model that I myself have designed, I tend to use a lot more basic models. The more complex ones, I don't feel like actually translate well into steel. It just looks like steel fabrication at that point. To me, the pointed geometric shapes of the basic models really come out and are more interesting in steel. Does that make sense? So I start by making the paper model, and then as you're going to see, I'm going to take and cut it apart. I'm going to try to drop a link into the chat for the model I'm using. Nope, evidently I'm not, because my phone won't connect to my computer. That's done. So down in the doobly-doo, I'm going to throw the link for the thingamajig, and you can, witch me watch that. It's a very common, basic flying duck. This model in particular is going to be going to my aunt. She asked for this a while ago. My grandfather used to collect the wooden ducks that you use for shooting. Lure ducks. Lure ducks? Anybody know what that's actually called? Yes, I am very technical in my wordy words, my bitty bots, my vocalizations. But anywho's, my grandfather makes didn't make, he collected the duck lures, and as the story goes, my aunt gave my grandfather this really interesting one, and I know that there's more story there. My Aunt Gretchen is going to be very sad that I don't remember it all. But needless to say, it's important to her. I remember my grandfather having all these wooden ducks, and I remember everybody in my family having them as well. So the origami duck is kind of I think a really awesome homage that my aunt picked out for that, for kind of a remembrance for my grandfather. So yeah, that's why we're doing this one today. Because she kind of asked me to do this for her a while ago, and I get performance anxiety. I'm sure some of you have met me and know this. When it comes to making things, I get myself all kinds of psyched out and worked up, and then I don't actually do it because I get scared. Anybody else do that? When you go to make something, or like when you have a project in front of you, you get like totally freaking freaked out. Like, you're just like, oh my god, I'm gonna do this thing, and this is really cool. Oh my god, I don't want to do this thing. It's really scary, and I haven't done this before. Never mind, I'll do it later. It's like a weird procrastination thing. Decoy. Thank you, Ian. Decoy ducks. I'm gonna try to occasionally glance over at the chat, but my laptop is my camera right now because I'm a dummy and didn't charge the batteries for my camera. No. Because I get nervous before projects and forget things, and then I just like, never mind, I don't do this. Raise his hand. That's why I have 5 project guitars waiting to be completed. Yeah. Nope. Ian, you and I have had many conversations about this. Well, not many conversations, but conversations about this. My brother Ian is watching, and we are both working on Mandalorian armor as another project. So we're kind of stoked about that. My brother Seth, and another friend of ours are doing their armors out of Sintra. Jaboy, though. Of course, I'm going to try to make mine out of steel. Might actually do a live cast of that. If this goes well and y'all are entertained and you think this is fun, I may do more of these. Maybe I'll try my hand at making a couple of videos. I don't know. I feel like this is a good way to hold me accountable, kind of maybe get over that maker scurry hump, and get me into just doing it more because y'all will be watching and I have to. Or I can be a big boy and do it myself. Yeah, either way, I probably will try to do at least some video footage, some documentation for y'all doing the Mandalorian armor stuff. Yeah, we'll see about that. Once again, we've got a couple of new people joining us. We're working on a origami duck, or will be shortly. I'm going to give it another 5 minutes, maybe, before we really get into the meat and potatoes of it. Just sitting out here in lovely Atlanta, Georgia, enjoying. Actually, it's really nice today. The weather's actually lovely. Oh my god, that cat! Cat's sitting out. I'm gonna show you a thing real quick. The cat is just too damn cute. Look at that terrible thing. It's so terrible. Look at it.
Pigs. Antigone.
Look at this thing. Just look at this thing. Yeah. Cat's at YouTube. Yeah. Are you gonna attack me? I guess that's the funny thing. No? Yeah. She's a good girl. She's trash. She's garbage. Garbage cat. All right. We got. Cool. All right. Well, I think we are just about 17 minutes in. I guess I could actually get started here. So I originally tried to cast to both YouTube and Instagram/Facebook. That didn't work. I was trying to cast and I couldn't get it to actually turn on. The cast to go live. So there we go.
You see me?
Okay, cool. So yeah, batteries. I probably should have done all of this beforehand. You know, like a smart boy. Who I got? Origami duck. Tiga? Tigs. That thing, the garbage. Yeah. Isn't the cat hot? Corners are 90 degrees. Oh my god! Corners are 90 degrees! Ian? That's amazing. The lovely weather. Let's get started, shall we? So, first thing I do, like I said earlier, is make a paper model. This is a pretty rudimentary, pretty basic model. Once again, I'll have the links at some point for I'll have a link somewhere for the video that I used to actually make this model. And what I'll do is I'll try to pick out the places, because I don't fold the steel out of one piece. Mild steel tends to tear in certain places. Yours actually didn't tear too bad. It's an origami wolf that I did a while ago. But I still have to ship out to my lovely Ian. This one did, okay. Yeah, there's a little example of a tear. So it really doesn't like being refolded. I don't know if y'all can see that. Got some sort of cool camera blur going on. But right there, the steel kind of, it tears. It's just not lovely, not conducive. And the more times you try to do a fold, the more that steel is pulling over itself and is likely to fail and tear. So what I do is I take and I pull apart this is actually the head for that wolf. I dissect it into a rudimentary pattern that I can then emulate all the basic folds so that you then end up with an origami form. Yeah. So that's what we're going to start with here. I'm going to get myself a little comfy. For this, I've got a really super cheapo cutting mat that I made using a super cheap thin plastic cutting board and a piece of polyfoam. You can get the really expensive ones from like Joann's, Michael's, and stuff like that. They're wonderful. If you can afford them, awesome. I can't, so I don't. A lot of the materials that you're going to see me use are either upcycle or super cheap. A lot of hand tools, little tiny jeweling pliers, as well as some regular needle nose pliers, vice grips, crescent wrench. Sometimes you use that for getting wider tweaks and curves and stuff like that. Best tool of all, safety glasses, safety first. When I go to do some of the finer cuts and even some of the folds, I'll put my gloves on because this stuff does get very sharp and makes little ribbons out of your fleshy bits. So yeah, let's get into it. Should probably zoom in a little bit. I don't even know if I can zoom in because I'm not using the camera. I'm using my laptop. So I'm not going to zoom in. Sorry, guys. We got 74 ATL. Focus. Aw, I'm glad Puppo's having a good time. Oh, great. My mom is also watching, so no pressure. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and mark out the folds that I feel are the most representative of this model. I'll try to get a little closer for you to see some of what I find important. Some of the defining features I find are going to be right along here. This wing fold, this fold down. This one, this edge fold here, I think I'm probably going to let that one go. Mostly because this is going to give more definition, and this is just a product fold. What I think of as a product fold, it is there to give these wings, or to give a point for these wings. So I'm going to let that one go. I am, however, I think going to try to keep the wing fold here. Here that I feel like I need to keep. No, that's mostly fluff. So that'll probably do it for the wings. I was originally hoping that I could do the wings as one piece. As I can show you with the wolf was originally this was a crease down the middle of the back. and I made it a single fold because I liked it better. Totally a personal decision on my behalf. But that's what I found to be important was more the shape and the symmetry of it rather than having the actual fold into the back. Chris is passed out. Good girl, Cressida. I was hoping I could do that with the wings, but I feel like if I keep this point here, this flap won't allow that. So I think I'm going to have to let that go. The idea of keeping it in one piece go. Instead, I'm going to move on. Keep the chest. I'm going to keep these feet folds. That I will be able to actually do one piece. And I'm actually going to do a little bit of trickery like I did here. I'm going to hold on to this spot right here where the feet or the wings kind of fold down into the feet area. I'm going to lengthen out this wing area and fake that. Fake that. Yeah, I think that'll work. That'll keep this all unified because I really do like this section into the feet. I think that's kind of fun. It'll make a nice little detail. And then we obviously have the feet, which I think that can actually just be a part of the wing. Or the body and the wing. So we'll keep that. And then so my challenge here is I could try to keep the head one piece with the body. If I do that, I have to figure out if I'm going to lose this hood section right here. I don't know if y'all can see that. There's a little tiny hood over the back of the head right before you get into the beak section. And I kind of like that. I may do some more trickery and do that out of a separate piece and add that in and weld that in later. Just in case you're curious, I'm not going to be doing any welding on video, mostly because, A, welding looks like crap in videos. It always does, unless you're shooting through a really high neutral density filter, like, say, a secondary welding mask or something. And switching that in and out myself, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And I don't have a welder here. So, yeah. So that gives us to the hood. And if I do that out of one piece, I can keep the head one piece. And that shouldn't be a problem. I'm just drawing out some lines for the beak here so that I know when I go back in, these are going to be points that I fold, not to cut. We'll get to the breakdown in just a second. I do that. Ah, cool. So I can do that. As I'm looking at this, I see that there's a flap here. And I'm actually going to kind of turn that around so that I can keep these edge folds on the head and beak. And those will fold in so that then when I collapse it, yeah, I feel like that'll work. So this is the process. It's a lot of trial and error, a lot of just looking at it and visualizing, like, okay, how is this going to unfold? How is this going to refold? And like for the wolf, that actually probably took me about 3 hours in itself, just pulling it apart and taping it back together, and like, yeah, it's a process. It's a process. So we're going to try to get as far as I can today. I'll probably at least get through the cutting out the metal for you, so you can see what the metal shapes. And probably get into some of the bending. I don't see why not. Yeah. I hope you guys don't mind. I'm really feeling kind of rambly and chill, like normal. If it gets too annoying, I can just shut up and work, and y'all can just sit there and watch and listen to the music and just kind of bop along. Ooh. Nice breeze. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get right into the pattern making for this guy. Feel like that's going to be the best next step. Patterns out of the way for what I've been doing. So, weird question. How many of y'all do origami? Have any of you found me through like the hashtag origami that I use on Instagram or anything like that? Or are you just all friends of mine, friends and family? It's just like one big Zoom call, giant Zoom call. Curious. Anybody? Bueller? Bueller? Anybody ever make the paper cranes or the little like fortune tellers as a kid? My mother told me to never say never. No? I do. Who's that? Oh. Yes, my mother does origami. My mother taught me how to do origami at a very young and impressionable age, and it broke me. From that point on, I was just always doing origami. Got in trouble in school. Not since high school. Okay, we got some people that do origami. I do origami way back in the day. But I am your friend! Yes, Jesse is my friend. My friend! My friend, Jesse. Oh my god, my cat is just totally jamming out to the music for a second. And it was actually a bird that landed on the patio. I was like, oh, she jams! She doesn't jam. She's garbage. Garbage cat. All right. This is another moment where I'm like cycling through my head. You're going to screw this up. You're going to screw this up. You're going to screw this up. Don't even do it. Just don't even do it. Just end the stream. Just turn it off. Turn it off. You're going to mess it up. So you got to fight through that a little bit. Actually, I'm probably going to use an X-Acto knife for this one. So I'm going to start with the wings. Now, to carve up your duck, you start with the wingies. Get rid of the wingies, the wingy thingies. And now I'm curious if I should maintain this inside section, because we see this is that line that I was trying to hold on to. But then there's this fold on the inside. It's an invisible fold. You never see it. But holding on to that would give me a place to weld onto later, which is another thing that I got to kind of keep in mind is like, as I put this back together, how am I going to weld it all together? And I think I'm going to hold on to it. So, once again, rip it in with the wingy thingy. Got to get in there. Carve up the wing. So I'm picking folds as my cut lines. I'm not going to actually try to cut away from me because I got all 10 fingers thus far, and I'm going to try to maintain all 10 of those things. But this is the line that I'm going to be trying to cut along. So that gives me that open up. And that's how you do it. That's all done. Thanks for joining me. That's been our live stream. Join me every week on second Thursday of the week. May the force be with you. Just kidding. Now I said that I wanted to hold on to that fold. And I'm going to. I'm going to keep it. For a brief moment, I was like, you don't need that. You don't need that. You don't even need that. But I do like it. So I'm going to go on the inside of that fold and I'm going to mark my fold. And I'm going to pick the oh, that's where the wing. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, everybody say hi to Tiggs. She came to help me out. She heard me carving up duck, and she's very interested. Hi. Do I need that? I do not. So, we're marking out our wing where to carve it up. Have any of my straight edges handy? No. Don't have any normal size straight. Give me 1 second. Also a straight edge. Very helpful for this. Actually, weirdly, straight edge, very helpful for origami, metal work. Like, just get a straight edge, get a multi-square, speed square, whatever you can get. Ruler, metal ruler. Very, very handy tool. Especially if you're a dope like me and you can't draw for swap. You can't draw a straight line to save my hypothetical. So that's going to be my cut line. And now I just realized that folds into the foot. Oh, that will just show up. Oh, okay, cool. Fun. I love when things actually work out like that. So I was very concerned that the two flaps were going to interfere, but I can actually use the inside here as a welding point for the wing. And then after it's welded, do that fold, and it'll hide that weld really nice. So cool. Yeah. All right, that's kind of fun. Did we lose the music? Okay. So we've got the wing part figured out. I'm going to mark some of my other folds real quick. Big thing in a lot of making, I know Jesse's a cosplayer. Ian has done some cosplay. We've got an Al Robinson in the house. Okay, cool. What's up, Al? Oh, so Alex made a joke referencing folding a paper crane one-handed. I can actually do it. I can actually fold a paper crane one-handed. Maybe if I finish up with some of this stuff, I'll demonstrate that it's actually relatively easy as long as you have a table. And you're insane and have done origami since you were like little thing. So I'm going to also try to mark out some of my points that I think in my head will work for welding. Trying to keep in mind places that will get hidden nicely. Okay, that works. Huh. So I just made a random discovery. I may, in fact, it may be possible for me to do the majority of this body on one piece. So, no, never mind. For the briefest of moments, I saw that this shape was working out to have one body shape or one something that would be easy to cut out on the shear. But I would lose a couple of the defining lines that I was looking for. Big reasons to always mark out your work ahead of time. It helps you keep track of that so that you don't do what I was just about to do and go like, oh, I just need this. Slice, get it over there, get it all cut out, and then you look at it and go, fine, I forgot to do a thing. I forgot the cool parts. Dang. So yeah, always mark out your work. I mark out folds with little dotted lines. It's a very common origami theme. So folds, mountain folds with dotted, valley folds with dot dash, cuts with solid lines, welds with dots, and then I'll oftentimes number assembling pieces. So like tab A, slot B, tab A, tab A, tab B, stuff like that. Kind of helps keep track of it because when you get to this point, it all just kind of looks like friggin' like it just looks like friggin' frick. Looks like frickin'. Heck. It looks like heckin' stuff. Now, oh, by the way, before we quick programming note, I don't intend these channels to be entirely kid-friendly. I tend to cuss like a pirate. And I don't want to have to constantly be like checking myself. So have some discussions with your kids. Teach them that I am a bad person and that they should not listen to me or talk like me or anything like that. I'm nobody's role model. Word. So, slicing and dicing, carving up our duck. Mood lighting. Around the wingy ding, get that a cut. No, we're holding on to that. Never mind. There we go. Wings are served. And then that folds out to this, which then becomes my pattern for putting it on the steel. Yeah. I'll only do one wing because it's going to be two pieces. Blah. Actually, no, I'm not. I think I'm going to have to do two pieces. Because I like the idea of the patterning being the same on both. Yeah, well, I'll let Cressida know once the plague is passed, my vows will be completed and we can get back to that good life. Speaking of which, Alana and I have decided to adopt a doggo. So we're checking out applicants for that at the moment. We're both very, very excited for it. Oh, dang. Same situation. Just ran into it. Got excited because I'm like, oh, I can just do it out of one piece. But then I lose the cowl on the back of the duck head. Nuts. That's fine. It's all good. But, so yeah, we're excited. Get our first doggo. We are adopting. We are not picky about our breed. I'm confident enough in our ability to source obedience training and stuff like that, that I'm not too concerned so long as we get a pupperino that gets along with us and gets along with Trash Cat wherever she went. Oh, see, I already broke my rule. I already noticed. Did not mark out this piece for my folds. Like a goofball. Like a goofus. Told you there would be goofs. Look at that. I followed through. Promises, promises. Ay, Dios mío. All right. About an hour left. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, that'll work all right. Yeah, 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 yeah. It'll be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. Cool. There we go. We got a pair of wings made. Caw, big. Heck, I'm dead. All right, done with the comments. Quick, what was that a quote from? Caw, bang. Frick, I'm dead. 3, 2, 1. Comments, go. Thank you, Ian. Oh my God, I knew either you or Al would at least get it. So the body. Speaking of the crow, a friend of mine recently asked if I could do a crow. And as I was looking at models for crows, I ran into, I don't know your references, Azure. This is why I will never be cool. I will never be one of the cool kids because I make references that everybody's like, what? What the deuce is that kid actually talking about? Kid, I'm a kid still. What the deuce is that old man talking about? Damn it, boomer. My mom thinks I'm cool, and that's all that matters. I'm not gonna take the cowl back that far, at least. That. Hmm. What do we get from this? So the other thing that I do is if I find pieces like this that are extraneous, that are extra, I will sometimes just cut them right off. Yes, Ian. That's why I'll never be cool. That's the only reason. That's the one thing that's holding me back from being cool. We all know I would never make a good cool kid. Ever. Ever. So I'm gonna kind of trim this down a little bit, kind of get rid of some of the parts that I know definitely won't use. It just keeps me from doing the what's this part for later on. Because having a simple model is generally better. Yeah, I'm having another thought. Leave me alone. The other thing is I want to use as little steel as possible so that I can have some for other projects and stuff like that. The reused steel, I've got these 3 sheets left. And then I've got a big sheet of brand new steel that I just got back in my shop. So okay, we continue trimming. See, remember those reminder lines that I put on here? That gets the back of the hood. I was just about to trim something off that I probably wouldn't have wanted to. That gives me the head and the body and the feet, or tail. Yes, that's the tail, not the feet. Because it doesn't have feet. It's quackers. It's quackers. Azure need to eat brains. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Jesus Christ walks into a bar, walks into an inn, hands the innkeeper $3 and says, "You put me up for the night?" Hey! Terrible. There's God, I'm burning in hell. So I'm considering again my neck here. Because like I said, I want to keep found it. So I want to keep the back of the neck cowl. But yeah, that'll work. Oh, pro tip for those of you that don't know this, a lot of the cosplayers know this, and some people that do paperwork, paper art, know you can sharpen your razors and your X-Acto knives, and I suggest that you do it. Having a razor sharp X-Acto knife to cut through multiple layers of paper without grabbing it and shredding it, huge boom. Like, it makes everything go a lot smoother. I mentioned that because guess what your bonehead bro didn't do? Did not sharpen his X-Acto knife before doing this. So now I'm getting shredded crud. Yeah. Yo. I'm also now gyrating with a knife. This is why I should not be anybody's any friend. You guys should not be friends with me. This is a terrible idea. Terrible. Most regrettable decision ever. Yeah, I knew that Azure kid once. All right, so I cut off the cowl from the backside, but I've got to make sure that I remember to take my transfer lines so that I don't forget things. So I'm going to mark my folds. That is a belly fold. This is a mountain fold. This is going to be a pain in the butt. I just realized because I've got steel likes to fold in one direction. It likes to fold the entire length, or it likes to just kind of do this. It does not like being pulled in multiple directions. And I just realized that this right here, where the body folds into the tail and where the body folds into the head, are a bunch of reversing folds, which means I have to isolate each of these fold lines as I try to collapse it, which will be tricky, not impossible. There's a trick that I can do. I guess I can get to that later on. Using a chisel to kind of dent the metal along a line, and it helps give the metal a little bit of guidance as to where it should fold, where it should collapse. It's going to be interesting, though. We'll see how that works. And I was real cute and left myself the beak fold, too. So I'll have to do the beak fold while it's flat. Collapse the head. Fold the cowl around it. Wow. Okay. We got this. We're going to do this. This is going to be great. It's going to be fun. We got this. We got this. All right. Probably should have made one of these before I did the stream. Well, it's so. Counter that. This should go like this, but I just realized doing it like that gives it a really nice second hood element. Which I can't tell if I like. All right, let me know in the comments. I'll go with a majority rule here. Do you like this second? I'm going to highlight that for you. All right, so what do you guys think? So this is going to be option number one with a secondary hood. So it'll be head, hood, face, beak. Or do we like the simpler version where it is just the hood, the head, and the beak? Oh, good! Gretchen's watching! So, what do you think? Oh, actually, I guess I should just leave this up to Gretchen. Hey, Gretchen, which one do you want? Head like this? Or head like this? So Jesse says the first one. Mom says the simpler version. Oh, wow. You know what I just realized? I'm really curious if I see your all's names because you're all. I was wondering why I could see everybody's actual names and not just your screen names. I'm a dummy. I think for this one, I might go with the simpler one, just because I think that second line doesn't actually illustrate the head type that I'm looking for. Okay. That tells me that. I'm going to leave the hood as one part, though. It takes up a little bit more room, but it gives me better places to weld, like this, instead of trying to weld little tiny tabs in. So yeah, so there's our hood, and then we've got our main body and our tail. I think we are going to leave this body shape in there, because that gives us a couple of extra fold elements. All right, back to marking this out. Mountain, belly. Okay. Belly fold. Belly fold. Cool. That gives us that. So what else have you guys been doing artistic-wise? YouTube did that for real. So what creative things have y'all been up to? Those of us that are either working from home or just doing random arts and crafts stuff, or I don't know, some people are doing cosplay. That was gross. Breeze just picked up a piece of paper and ran into my throat. Yucky. So creative projects. What are people playing? Some guitar. Oh, dude. Any of y'all that don't listen to my buddy Ian Capps, or aren't friends with Ian Cap, check him out. He won't say it, but I will. He is a really smart dude when it comes to guitar. Really, he just did a video a little while ago. Really cool stuff. Really fun. Hopefully he does some more videos. Oh, that's what we could do. Or maybe play with doing. Anybody that wants to do like open letters, like the Vlog Brothers have done like open letters back and forth. Shoot me a message. If you guys are interested in doing that, we'll do like maybe 1 or 2 minute videos, just like whatever, just back and forth, like each other. Just have a little thingamajigger with the doobly doos and the interwebs. You know, that's what that's for, right? For all those old schmucks to bang asses of ourselves on live TV for. Okay, I think that's. I actually did one of the things that I don't like doing most of the time, which is I put patterns on 2 different sides because I'm a doof. But I do have a bunch of the weird markings to kind of help illustrate on this side, so that's going to be fun and confusing. Hold. It's just a mark hold. Okay. So that is the stage 2 relatively complete. I've made my, oh, I guess I should go through and mark these real quick. I'm going to take a second and just kind of like focus on this for a quick second. I'm going to grab my iced coffee, which is back over here, because I've already killed my hot coffee. And I'll tune back in with you guys in just a quick second. Don't go anywhere. I'm still here. Just running away. Follow me. Okay. Real quick, I'm going to mark this out. Belly, belly. This. Beak. To beak with love. Belly, belly. Belly, belly. Mount. Okay. Well, well. This part is going to be entirely folded. I don't need any welds. Oh, goodness. Just transforming. Hey! So we got one of my Minecraft peeps. Jesse mentioned Animal Crossing. Alana recently started playing Animal Crossing. Um, I play Minecraft. I don't know how many of you know that. And Animal Crossing looks like fun. It looks an awful lot to me like Duplo Blocks Minecraft. But I don't know. It's kind of fun. Like I get the Zen Garden aspect of it. You know, Minecraft is my Zen Garden. Golly, Goliath? I always want to say Goliath, but also plays. Anybody that is interested in playing Minecraft, join me! Join me in Minecraft! I love playing Minecraft with friends. I play Java, and I play on Bad Wolf server. I want to say it's like Bad Wolf MC Oh God, I don't know the URL. Maybe Golly will be able to go leak, go link, go link. You guys get to just listen to me sound like a jackass. I love it. But yeah, maybe he can post a link for us if he feels like it. If he doesn't, he doesn't have to. I just like plugging my server because it's a lot of fun. I miss you guys. I miss you guys so freaking much. Oh my dear God. Even those of you that I talk to on a semi-regular basis, I miss interacting. So, hi. This is a virtual hug. Um, and since we do have a couple of people, I see Adam and Golly, Golly, go, my other buddy, just joining us. We're making origami ducks. That's what this is. It's a duck. It's a duck. That's what ducks sound like. It's trees creaking. It's so windy that the trees are just like straining back and forth. All right. So we've done our patterns, multiple pieces. So now comes the relatively simple-ish part of puzzling it all together on sheet steel. Once again, if you didn't catch it earlier, I'm using a bunch of recycled steel from some shelves that my boss picked up and didn't want some of the sheet steel on. So it's a 20 gauge mild steel that is really awesome, patina. This was all painted and rusted and nasty. And I took a wire wheel and cleaned all that off. A couple of things that I'll probably never do live are grinding, sanding, welding, because they are either A, super loud, and unless I can get some sort of feed to go in the background or something like that. If anybody knows how to do that, ooh, hit me up. But yeah, so I prepped all these already. They've been sitting around, so they've developed a little bit of surface rust, but I can just take a Scotch-Brite, and Scotch-Brite is an abrasive, and just kind of sand that off. But there are a lot of things like these perforations that I actually really like to include in some of the pieces. There's an origami wolf that I made for, or I'm sorry, an origami fox that I made for Alana. That was the first one that I made out of steel that had a couple of the perforation lines showed through. And I really like, I don't know, I'm a big fan on letting the material be the material instead of necessarily trying to make the material be something else. So like I have another piece here that is not perfectly flat. Like it's got some really gnarly bends and folds in it already. I'll probably tamp those out a little bit, flatten those out a little bit on the anvil. But I'll let that texture, for the most part, stay. Um, so I'm reading comments. Oh, so those of you in the YouTube's world can actually see the story of the duck. Yeah. So there are reasons for things and stuffs. But for the materials, I like using recycled material. A lot of the stuff that I'm making for my own house, for the house furniture-wise and stuff like that, I'm trying to use as much recycled material as I can. I think that's very important for us moving forward as makers to create as little waste as possible. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's one of the impetuses. Impeterium. Who's what? All right, one of you speaks Latin. I know you do. Like, somebody's got to know it. Impetus, the multiple inputs, maybe? I have no idea. I don't even know. Impromptu? Imperterium. Imperial. There we go. Imperial. We're going to go with Imperial. The Imperial is for me wanting to do what I do. So yeah. Steel. What I got. Gonna make some marks on here. Just gonna do some quick layout. Let me go grab my magnets. So I got these a while ago for another project completely, but they are terrible magnets. These things are the pits. The only thing they're really good for is holding paper to a flat surface that is already laying down. You try to use these on a fridge or something like that, and they just slide right down. They're the weakest magnets ever. But they're good for holding patterns, in this case. I wish I had like a good set of like big old neodymium magnets, but I do not. See, that's how terrible they are. Yeah. Garbage. Speaking of garbage, Tigany, terrible. Ah, let's see. So if this turns out to be small enough, which I think it actually is, with only 4 parts, I might use the smaller piece because I like the pattern on that better for a duck. I'm not sure. Not 100% sure yet. I'm doing a lot of backbending because, like I said, these magnets are trash. 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 Worst. Here we go. Yoobly doobly doo. Just so you know, that's exactly what it's like with me alone, is I just sit here talking to myself. I mean, heck, I do that when I hang out with most of you anyway. I mean, a lot of times I'm talking to you, but a lot of times I'm just talking out loud. Who's the nose? I lost some musics. So this is telling me that I can use the smaller, nicer piece. Cool. Fine. Yes. Yes. Cool. ASMR. Oh. So today, I'm going to have some magnet ASMR. This is why I can't have nice things. This is why I can't have nice things. Who raised me to be this way? Terrible. Ugh. All right. Ugh. Be back in a second. Ow. Found it. All right. So we're going to do a second layout. This time I have to actually pay attention to my orientation because just like with normal origami, I've got the side with the pattern that I like. I don't know if y'all can see that. And a pattern that, well, I don't hate. It's not the pattern that I want necessarily. This one really does just have the coolest, like, I like it. I like it a lot. So I'm going to try to make sure that my back and face, so that's the orientation I want for this one. Why don't I? Cool. I get 2 edges. So when I go over to the shear, I'm going to take you guys over there with me to cut these out. Having edges is such a time saver. My goodness. Because I know that for the most part, a lot of my corners are square and my edges are straight because I did these on a big box shear. So that just saves me like a bunch of little cuts later on. So I'm kind of excited for that. This will be fun and interesting, and I get all the edges today. That's awesome. Fantastic. We're just gonna put a little bit of effort into it. Just gonna add a little bit of pepper. Oh God, how terrible would a cooking show featuring me be? Think about this for a second. I'd be talking about, who knows? It would be terrible. Good thing I don't do cooking shows. Although, you know what cooking show I would do? Cooking with Ian and Azure. The two of us trying to teach each other how to cook things. That would be fun. That would be a good time. Trash. That would be embarrassing. That's the point, Ian. That'd be terrible for us. Entertaining for everybody else. They get to watch us like do terrible cooking. And yes, Al, we'll talk to you on the flip side, man. Thanks for popping by. Thanks for popping by. Now I'm running into a situation. So I've got myself kind of like partially laid out here. I'm going to have a couple of big pieces left over, which I'm okay with, because I actually have kind of a thingy in my head that I want to do with those later. But I'm running into a spot, and this is where I have to be really careful. Cutting these out on a shear, as opposed to using like a rotary blade or something like that, the shear gives me cleaner lines that I appreciate, that I approve of. Approve? Neither of those words work. That I enjoy better aesthetically. The downside is it does not like these cutouts. And I'm nervous about having something inside of there that I need, that I can't just like waste that piece. But I don't think that this fits on any other plane. However, I can get away with that. Neato! Neato burrito! Cool. So that does that. So now that I've got my origami duck jigsaw puzzle going on. Right. One syllable, trash. Yeah, trash. I'm going to go through and trace this directly onto the steel. I did not double check this. I need to flip it. Let it never be said that Azure is good at all at multitasking. I am not good at multitasking. Nor am I good at spatial logic, evidently, because it doesn't matter, because that can just get folded the other direction. Because it's a mirrored image thing, it doesn't actually matter which side is up. I do want to make sure that my wings are right, though, because those are left-right oriented. So glorious. My wing. This is up. Up to match that. Wunderbar. Das erguten. Das erguten, mein Freund Leben. So what do y'all think? Y'all having fun? Y'all enjoying watching me goof around and just kind of like yammer on to myself and at you guys in general? It's amusing. Do I entertain you? And is YouTube a good format? Does this work for everybody? I mean, obviously because you're here, but like, was it easy to navigate to this? How are you guys finding your overall general experience? Inquiring minds want to know. Azure, you're terrible at everything and you need to just go. Fair enough. Fair enough. Nobody actually commented that. It's what my brain says. Okay. These magnets are the worst. They stick to everything except what you want them to stick to. Damn it. Damn it. First. Yeah. Oh, music turned off. I see what you did there. Dang it all. Wow. Wind is really picking up. I don't know. Can you guys hear the wind? It's really getting windy here. Woof. So I'm transferring the pattern of the duck onto the paper. really interesting and very, I don't know what any of those things are. They're just gesticulations. Okay. One of the parts, one of the things to pay attention to at this point is that you're really pressing down on your pattern. With the wolf, I noticed that there's a point where I had creased it and I had overlapped just a little bit more than I had intended. So instead of that fold being symmetrical, it's a little not. Sorry. So make sure you press your pattern down nice and firm. If you're ever going to try this, I don't expect anybody to. This is weird and just kind of an oddball thing to do. Who does this? Who does origami out of steel? Why would you even try? I try because it's my place to try. Cool. Cool. This is actually one of those points where I don't know if I need that line or not. Hunga bunga, these are really close. Hey, this is going to be a little tight. Tight. We'll manage. We'll manage. It'll work out just fine. It'll work out just fine. It'll work out just fine. This is going to end badly. Take it easy. I see some people are going to get food. I should get food soon because food is good. Blah, 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 blah. Believe. Okay. So that is that. The next thing I do, once I've got the outlines in, is I'll go in and very quickly trace uh, some of the fold lines in there, just so that I kind of have a frame of reference. Because once I pull these off, I can look at them to know where I need to go, but having it on the steel as I'm doing it is beneficial, helpful. Cool. Time for me to stop work. Not here, but at my job. My jobby job. That cowl connector. Head fold. Other head fold. Cool. So there are a couple of things where it looks like a point should, like 3 things should come to a point, but in a lot of folds like this, there are times when that's not true. Really gotta pay attention to those because otherwise you end up with goofy stuff. Another big reason why I am doing these fold markers in advance of me actually like trying to collapse it, because it can go very sideways, very sideways. It's the tail, those tail folds. Cool. My center line's off by like a millimeter. Okay, I can. Okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty well lined up. Head. Now I'm going to try to get the beak has a slight angle in its pleat fold. I'm going to try to get that. Pleating with steel is kind of a tricky biz. Doesn't always go exactly as you would think it would. Now there's a process that I'm going to be trying sometime in the future, doing heated folds, where I actually take an oxyacetylene torch and run it along some of the lines as I fold them. To earlier in the stream, I mentioned steel tearing. One of the thoughts is if you heat the steel, it grants the steel a very clay-like elasticity, plasticity. I don't know what the right term is. But it would allow the fold to happen without tearing as much. When I get into some of the larger, like 4 foot by 4 foot pieces, there's going to be a lot more of that. Because those ones I will want to try to do out of one sheet. Anyways, thoughts and ideas that I'm going to try in the future. So that's the body transferred. My neighbor's a carpenter, and sounds like he's in his shop today also. Okay, that's that. Oh, jinkies. Remember that time we took great care in marking out all our folds, and then I forgot how they go together? This is the fun part of the where I take things apart, put them back together. Take things apart, put them back together. Take things apart, put them back together. Take things apart, put it. Yeah, there we go. Directions. They're a thing. All right, so that goes there. That goes back to the tail. That goes back. No. The little point isn't even needed. I'm not here doing that. Attention to that. Just cut that part right off. Second guessing. Ah, that's why I wanted to keep that. Because that keeps this all one piece folded in. Okay, never mind. We're gonna hold on. We're gonna hold on. Cut it off later if we don't want. Hey yo. Hey yo. What you gonna do in the wing? What you gonna do? What you gonna do when the wing's coming for you? However, you want to transfer that. So right now I'm just kind of like quickly marking out what our folding point or what our body points and what are going to be used for welding later, like welding tabs. Woo! We got 10-ish minutes left. So I'm going to try to do this very quickly. I'm going to concentrate and just kind of crank this out so that you can see me at least fold some steel. I kind of wasted a little bit too much time at the beginning, and for that I apologize. Oh, brain. Making. So that's the most part of that. Taking a picture for the YouTubes. For the Instas? For the Instas. Because look, it's origamis in steel. Das ist gut. Das ist gut. Very good. Okay. So, oh, my back. I'm so old. Why did I get so old? We're going to go to position 2 here. Oh my God. This was originally supposed to be done with a camera, and instead I'm using my laptop, which is mounted to a little tiny chair that I have that is sitting on a big beefy tripod that I have. All right, this is my little workstation here. I've got a hand shear. I actually got this one from Strickland when he was selling off a lot of his stuff. Really amazing blacksmith, old school. Same with my anvil, little 60-pounder. With good magnets on it. The shear is the only thing that, like, if you've got the little hand shears and you're using very thin gauge material, you can get away with. But for anything thicker than like 20 gauge, you really do need a bigger shear. Or another cutting device. You could use an angle grinder, although you'd want to leave a lot of extra space in your... Wow, you really can't see those lines. There we go. I'm like sitting there like showing you guys like, see how good it looks, see how good it looks, look at all those lines. And you can't actually see them. But yeah, those are all our lines. I'm now going to try to decode them as I use a shear and try not to, you know, lose a finger doing that. That's why we've got the crescent wrench. I knew there was a ding-dang reason that I had the dang-dang thing with the doom-doom. Because you got a zig-a-zig off. Okay. Okay. Well, okay then. So it looks like... I'm going to start with my wing. Now this part is kind of fun right now because I have to just kind of guess where my material is underneath the brake, which I don't always love. No, not really. No, here we go. Now, for a lot of these cuts, I will err on the side of too much material because it's always like right there. I can remove more material later. As we can see, I actually trimmed further into the corner than I needed to. because I know where I'm at there. But I'm going to leave more meat down here because I can always trim in if I have to. So, cool. Very cool. That's very cool. Cool, cool, super good. There. So that's everything except that little cutout piece out there, which we can do here real quick. So this is the part that I was talking about. This particular shear, this cutting point, I don't think actually, I guess it does. Ah, all right, never mind. I'm just gonna shut my mouth. Actually, you guys would probably find that pretty boring, so I'm not gonna shut my mouth. I'm gonna keep talking. And I'm just gonna kind of nibble away at that. Get pretty close. There we go. Over here. Now I've got a reference point for my last cut. There we go. We have our wingy thingy. A lot of times when I do this, I will use what's called soapstone instead of black marker. Black marker is great, but sometimes it's a little hard to see. As you can see. See? 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 All right. Enough goofing around. Too many goofs. Not enough work. That off. Not too concerned about this cut. A little over. Never mind. Of course, that one went perfect. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to work my way in with all these cuts because there are certain things like cutting that out in the middle just isn't going to happen. So as you can see, anyway. Doesn't quite fit me. So this. I don't generally like wasting pieces, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to go ahead and trim that off. That. So I'm just kind of like nibbling away at some of the pieces. So I can get a good angle at this cut. quick word of safety. You see me twisting these off a lot. It's generally a really bad idea because you end up with like that. That's a little tiny razor blade right there. That will inevitably get me and rip me open. It's really bad practice. Don't do that. Cut all the way through. I mean, to be fair, these are all little razor blades. This shear does not leave smooth edges, just smoother edges. Fold that. That. See? So you leave yourself more space than you need. Never mind. That's fine. That's a reference cut knot. There. Nailed it. Okay. Suddenly we got Kermit the Frog here. Oh man, YouTube's gonna take me down for copyright infringement. Damn it. Knew it was gonna happen evidently. Eventually. My career as a YouTube star is over before I even got a chance to begin. Okay. Well, ain't that gosh darn pickle? Underneath it. So there's our cowl. And this will do it for the body. Oh, goodness gracious. Never mind. That's a reference tab. I can cut that off. Can I get in there? Not easily, huh? Alright. Ah! Just saw nothing. Actually, you guys saw it all. Second wing. And last little bit of body. We'll get you some folding. How are we doing on time? We're over. Cool. So, we have our parts. We're going to go back over here and kind of do a little bit more foldy-foldy, and we're done for today. There'll still be some weldy bits. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to be doing welding on camera because you can't really see it that easily. Don't mind the stack of chairs behind me on projects that I'm working on for myself and for neighbors and stuff. All right. If you wish I had some sandpaper, that would have been a smart thing to have on hand. Kind of take down a lot of these edges. Or my files, which I also don't have. Will be. Okay. So at this point, I'm just going to throw on my gloves because this stuff will ribbon me otherwise. Just normal leather gloves. No need to go Kevlar. I mean, if you have Kevlar and that's what you want to use, go for it. I ain't going to stop yet. Just because I think they're going to go fastest, I think I'm going to go with the wings first.
Giggity.
You going to be in the show? She's going to be shy. So I'm going to be using a lot of the flat edges of my pliers today because I don't have my big thing monstrosity that I made. I took a set of pliers or a adjustable monkey wrench and welded some flat steel onto it. Because like I said earlier, steel doesn't like to follow straight line. It just kind of goes wherever the heck it wants. So you got to really be insistent using either a brake, which is a big mechanism that just folds the steel, or in this case, not. I'm just going to use some hand tools. So I think what I'm going to do today is, how did you come up with this idea? Oh, it was actually one of those things when I first started doing blacksmithing. We were doing vent hoods, and I realized that the method that we use, I just mentioned using the brake to fold the steel and stuff like that. And I realized that that same process is very much like doing origami. And it's just kind of like 1 and 1 equals 2, and that was it. From there, I realized that it was something that was feasible, and I really like the idea of taking steel and making it do something that paper does. That kind of like, paper's soft, steel is hard. That idea kind of really, I like it. I like that idea. I like the contrast. The idea that I can make steel do what paper does. And I'm about to go the wrong way. So desperately trying to do this. Just kind of inching it along using the flat edge of my pliers. Actually, we're going to go to my backup, because I already see that it's starting to do, as I'm folding, I can see it starts to do this wave, which means that it wants to track along this line instead of the line that I want it to. So, I'm going to make an improvised break. So because this is such a thin gauge steel, I can do a lot of this by hand. Were I to have my little break, I would definitely be using that instead, because it makes everything, all the lines a lot crisper. There. And a lot less brute force. Gets that started. First. Oh, I should have done that first. Mogwai. This is how I do it. Third. Cursing myself when I make a goofball mistake. So that's the other thing, is a lot of the timing of the folds, what folds you do when, matters. I think I'm at a point where I can still do that, though. Oh. Worked out really nicely. Okay. So that actually worked out pretty okay there, buddy. Pretty good. Right tight, like it. Ah, nuts. Back bend on the wing. Bend that. So there we go. There's our basic wing. I'm going to take this over to the anvil and just kind of pound it out real quick. I'm not going to do full position 2. We're just going to... wing. Brr. This is one of those points where the steel is not wanting to follow the line that I set for it. It's trying to curl too far down. So I'm kind of fighting with it, trying to get it to form a nice, even point. Fortunately, I tend to win this fight. Okay, so we've got that crease. I'm going to go ahead and tap that in. And there we have a fold that nobody will ever see because it's going on the inside. Now we're going to do this one right here real quick. Actually, I'm going to leave that one for the moment. I'm going to leave that one because I'm going to wait till we get to the body and be able to seat that in the body to do it. I am going to do this other curve, other part of the wing. There we go. Seat that section into it. Both pull together. And by Jove, I think we got it. Gives us the first wing. This will seat into the body. This will seat for the tail and get turned up when it's time for that. Yeah, not too displeased. I think just for entertainment's sake, since we're almost 20 minutes over now, we go ahead and do the body and then we'll call it. What do you guys think? You guys think it's okay to wrap it up, 20 minutes after I said we were going to, well, 15 minutes after I said we were going to finish? Yeah, I think that's plenty. So I'm going to start with the tail, I think, on this one. I think I'm going to start with the body. I really don't like that. I'm doing this so that you guys can't see it. I'm sorry. Turn this way. I'm using my side of my anvil to get in there. What other origami creatures have you created? Out of paper, I have done a ton. Everything from birds to so all kinds of dinosaurs and stuff like that. Out of steel so far, I've done only a handful. An owl, fox, a wolf, a couple of origami bases, which are used to further make origami forms. Sorry, this might be kind of loud and irritating. I apologize. There we go. That's part one of the head. This over here. So y'all can see what I'm doing. I'm just basically forming it around the edge of my anvil. But just in case anybody's curious, I am actually taking commissions. So if you like what you see here and want one, cool. Hit me up. I'm always interested to try some things. So I'm using the peening edge of my hammer to actually curl the point over because it's tracking where I don't want it to. There. So that's the points for our head. And this will then... Yay. This is going to be interesting. So I'm now working with multiple layers, which always gets a little hinky. And I'm working with multiple directions, which gets a little hinky. Okay. I'm going to set that. This is the part that I was actually the most worried about earlier, because it's multiple folds all at once. Just kind of like measuring them out and doing. Because I got to do the tail, the head, all at once. Which with paper is really simple. It's really easy to do with paper. Steel does not like to flex so much. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. Not doing anything too terrible yet. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There we go. Oh, yeah. So this is going to be very interesting. That pool did not go where I thought it was going to. So it's happening. I don't know if you'll be able to see it too well. Instead of this folding straight out, it's actually wanting to flex and wave. So I may have to do that trick that I was just talking about a while ago. I'm going to try to set it with just the hammer, but let's see. Close-ish. Close-ish. Let's try. Setting this. Set this one. Set these guys. Oh, bagaroo. Nailed it. Oh. Set this last one. I probably should have done these from the start. That would have been a good idea. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see. Let's see. Off that side. I'm okay with that, so long as that stays remotely even. Okay, so that's collapsing nicely. The body's starting to do what it's supposed to. This might actually work. Let's see. Oh my god, doing this backwards is hard. Okay. All right. So we're starting to get the body form. That crease that I was worried about earlier is still happening, but I feel like that's going to come out as we work the shape out. I don't know if y'all can see that. This is what I'm trying to avoid right here. These are the lines that I'm trying to get in there. But to gutta. I think that's working. Can't strong arm it yet. So we're just going to keep kind of tapping these in. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Show you guys what I'm doing. Kind of working these folds in bit by bit. And we're actually, this will work. Cool. I mean, I knew it was going to work. I knew that. We all did, didn't we? Everybody had confidence that this was going to work. Everybody knew. We all knew that this was going to work in the end. Come on. Work with me here. Work with me. Come on. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Here we go. This is where a lot of that, like, hammering finesse comes in. This is not all brute force. But we're making some progress. We're almost fully in half, which is where we want to be. Okay, here we go. Just about done. Just about there. And there we go. That is cool. And we're just about there. I'm going to stop it here because I just realized that I have not put in the pleat fold for the beak, which was dumb. I shouldn't have done that. Should have first. So I'm going to very quickly, oh my God, we're almost 40 minutes over. I am so sorry, everybody. Oh, what have I done? I am so sorry. I'm going to try to wrap this up very quickly here. I'm just going to pop the beak in as fast as I can. Not as fast as I can. I'm going to take my time. But oh, okay. Well, that actually went a lot faster than I thought it would. Goodness gracious. I expected that pleat to get me in a lot more trouble. Okay, never mind. Just kidding. It's actually giving me fits. Beef does not want to reform. That's okay. I understand. The way I've treated this thing, I wouldn't want to reform either. Okay, so we've got that side. Kind of got that side. I mean, yeah, it worked. All right, so I'm starting to see what I don't want to see, which is a little bit of stress right at the top here. That worries me a little bit because that indicates that it wants to, or that it's under stress there and that it may want to tear. So I'm not going to push my luck. I'm going to form it a little bit, but I'm not going to, because that is the head, having a little bit of three-dimensional aspect to it, not necessarily the worst. I'm just going to kind of form the back parts in a little bit. And tighten up that, the tail butt, the butt tail. And that's about as far as I'm going to take this, because I need to get the wing in there and weld that before I go any further. So what we will end up with goofball. Get in there, you goober. Woo! Body deformed a little bit. That's okay. So once we get this all formed together, we'll have the wing and the duck body. Not bad. I'm going to take 5 minutes to try to knock out this towel. It should fit right in here, and we're going to call it a day. Because this has been a lot of fun, but I'm also kind of a little peppered. First live stream, so I'm not quite used to it yet, and should have looked, because that's definitely the wrong direction. Which means that is going to be that. That. Go. And there we go. I'm going to make sure to fold this a little bit. That's up to, just kidding. There we go. It's a goose. How disappointed would y'all be if I did that and it turned out to be a goose? A goose, he said. Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm meshing these two parts together. And as I'm doing it, I'm actually realizing that I may not have to weld that at all, because this is going to fold into itself. And if I do it tight enough, it should hold itself in place. Which would be kind of cool, kind of nice. Just get in there a little bit. Erminger. Remember, just go. Just get it in there. Take a Uber. Well, here. I knew that was going to work out like that. Well, cool, Goober. You got right in there. Now, so long as I can get that bent back, you know, itself, is actually the head done. See now, had to say that. Because now I'm not entirely sure that I can get that in there without mucking stuff up. Very windy. See, now suddenly I'm thinking, should have done that from the start. And left this opened up a little bit. Would have made this a lot easier. I'm going to try. Very gently. The thing about steel, as opposed to paper, is steel does not like to be unfolded. It will tear if I try to unfold it too much. But I can, because this crease wasn't set in too hard, I can kind of open the body up a little bit to get these doobly-doos all on the inside. Wow! Cool! Might actually work. Might have done it. Might have done it. Big dang dang it. You got that thing deep. Whoa, got that thing in. Just kind of concentrate on what I'm doing here for a second. Wow. Well, by Jove, I think we've nailed it. About as good as we're going to get right now. Cool. I did it. That's it. All right, so I think we're going to call it here. I've got... So we've got our body, our head, we've got the cowl on, and it's a no weld piece. That folded right in there nice and pretty. It's seated real nice. Kind of happy, kind of proud. I want to thank y'all for, tuning in and joining me. This was very fun, very stressful, but I think I want to do this some more. We'll try to get it up on multiple platforms so that people don't necessarily have to join on YouTube if they don't want, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. All right. Thank you all. Once again, we did the shape in paper first, made the template and printed that out onto the steel. Got our body, head, and wing pieces all set up. Pretty much all that's left is the other wing and getting it all welded together. So look for the finished piece probably in the next 2 or 3 days on the Instagrams and Facebooks. Hope it wasn't too boring, too loud and annoying. How was the hammering? Was that too loud? I don't know. Let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Thanks. Love you all. Miss you all. Don't get the plague. Stay inside. Cover your damn mouths and wash your damn hands and mouths. Wash your mouths too. All right. This is Azure coming at you from the Plague Lands. Love you all. Bye.